There is a particular magic in a bowl of soup made just for one. No fuss, no waste, no standing over the hob for hours. For anyone living alone, especially in later years, cooking can start to feel like more bother than it's worth. It shouldn't be. These 20 soups cost pennies, take 10 minutes or less, and ask nothing of you but a pan and a wooden spoon. Each one is warm, nourishing, and gentle on both the purse and the appetite. Some you'll remember from years gone by. Others might just surprise you. So get yourself comfortable, pop the kettle on if you fancy, and let's count down 20 cheap British soups that prove a proper meal needn't be a chore. Starting with number 20. Number 20. Tinned tomato soup, made proper. We all know the tin, and there is no shame in it. But with 2 minutes of effort, you can turn that humble can into something that tastes like you spent the afternoon on it. Tip the soup into a small pan, then stir in a splash of milk, a pinch of black pepper, and a single clove of garlic crushed in while it warms. If you have a slice of bread going stale in the bread bin, tear it small and let it sink in to thicken the bowl. The whole thing costs under 50 pence and is ready before the toast pops. The warmth of it spreads through the kitchen, that familiar sweet and tangy smell that takes you straight back to school dinners and cold afternoons. For someone cooking for one, this is the gentlest place to begin. No knife skills, no chopping, just a tin, a pan, and a few minutes of comfort that asks almost nothing of you in return. Number 19. Pea and mint. Few things are cheaper than a bag of frozen peas, and few soups come together faster. A couple of handfuls of peas, straight from the freezer, dropped into half a pint of simmering stock made from a single cube. 3 minutes and they are tender. Add a small knob of butter, a torn sprig of mint if you have it growing on the windowsill, and a twist of pepper. Then mash it down with a fork, or whiz it if you have a stick blender. The color alone lifts the spirits, a bright spring green in the bowl on the greyest of days. A bag of peas costs little more than £1 and keeps in the freezer for months, so there is no rush and no waste. For a person on their own, this is a soup that feels fresh and light rather than heavy and dutiful. The sort of thing that reminds you eating well can still be a small pleasure rather than simply a task to be ticked off. Number 18. Carrot and coriander. The vegetable drawer almost always has a carrot or two lurking at the back, and they cook quicker than you might think when grated rather than chopped. Coarsely grate 2 carrots, soften them in a little butter for a couple of minutes, then pour over half a pint of stock and simmer for 5 minutes. A pinch of ground coriander or cumin brings warmth and depth, and a squeeze of lemon at the end wakes the whole thing up. The smell is earthy and sweet, the color a cheerful orange that brightens the dullest of tables. Carrots are among the cheapest vegetables in any shop, often pennies each, and they keep for weeks. For someone living alone, this soup is proof that you do not need a fridge full of ingredients to eat properly. 1 carrot, 1 cube, 1 pan, and you have a bowl that nourishes as much as it comforts. The kind of simple supper that quietly does you good. Number 17. Cream of mushroom. There is a reason this one has lingered on British tables for generations. A small handful of mushrooms, sliced thin, fried in butter until they release their dark, savory juices, then loosened with a little flour and a splash of milk until it turns silky and rich. 5 minutes is all it takes. A dried bay leaf or a pinch of thyme lifts it, and a final crack of pepper finishes the bowl. The aroma is deep and almost meaty, the sort that fills a quiet kitchen and makes the place feel lived in. Mushrooms are inexpensive and a small punnet stretches across 2 or 3 meals. For a person eating alone, this soup feels like a treat rather than a compromise, the kind of thing you might once have ordered in a restaurant. Mopped up with a heel of bread, it turns a solitary lunch into something that genuinely feels like care, made by your own hand in the time it takes to read the post. Number 16. Sweet corn chowder. Open a tin of sweet corn, the cheapest in the shop, and you are most of the way there already. Tip it into a pan with a small diced potato, or even leftover cold potato from yesterday, then cover with half a pint of milk and stock. Simmer for 7 or 8 minutes until everything is tender, mash a little to thicken, and season well. The result is golden, sweet, and surprisingly filling. A soup that sticks to the ribs without weighing you down. A tin of sweet corn costs barely 50 pence and keeps in the cupboard indefinitely, ready for the day you cannot face the shops. For someone on their own, this is the soup of a rainy afternoon, comforting and slightly nostalgic, the kind your mother might have made when the weather turned. A scatter of grated cheese melted on top turns it into something special. Simple, cheerful, and warming, it asks nothing more than a tin opener and a few minutes of your time. Number 15. Red lentil soup. The red lentil is the secret weapon of any thrifty kitchen, for it needs no soaking and cooks in minutes. A small cupful, rinsed and dropped into stock with a little onion or a spoon of dried onion flakes, will be soft and creamy in 8 minutes flat. A pinch of cumin or curry powder gives it warmth, and the lentils thicken the broth all on their own without any flour or fuss. A bag of red lentils costs little more than £1 and makes meal after meal after meal. The color deepens to a warm gold as it cooks, and the smell is comforting and gently spiced. For a person living alone, this is perhaps the most economical bowl on the entire list, rich in protein and goodness, filling enough to be supper. It is the kind of honest, sustaining food that fed families through harder times, and it tastes just as good when you are cooking only for yourself. Number 14. Leek and potato. A single leek and 1 potato will make a soup fit for any table, and both are among the cheapest things you can buy. Slice the leek thin and the potato small so they cook quickly. Soften them in butter for 2 minutes, then add half a pint of stock and simmer for 8 minutes. Mash it down or blend it smooth, finish with a splash of milk, and you have a soup that is silky, pale, and deeply comforting. This is a classic of the British kitchen for good reason, gentle on the stomach and easy on the budget. The smell of leeks softening in butter is one of the most homely there is. For someone eating alone, this soup feels substantial and proper, the sort of thing that fills you up and warms you through on a cold evening. Served hot with a slice of buttered bread, it is humble perfection, a reminder that the simplest ingredients often make the most satisfying meals. Number 13. Broccoli and stilton. It sounds grand, but it is quick and forgiving. A handful of broccoli florets, fresh or frozen, simmered in stock for 5 minutes until tender, then blended or mashed and finished with a small crumble of blue cheese you have lurking in the fridge. The stilton melts into the green, turning it savory and rich, a flavor far greater than the effort involved. Even a small wedge of cheese stretches across several bowls, so it need not be an extravagance. The smell is sharp and inviting, the kind that makes a kitchen feel busy and warm. For a person on their own, this is the soup that feels a little bit indulgent, a touch of luxury that costs next to nothing. Frozen broccoli keeps for months and means you always have the makings to hand. No trip to the shops required. It proves that cooking for one need never feel like settling for less, and that a single bowl can still feel like a proper treat. Number 12. White bean and garlic. A tin of cannellini or butter beans is one of the most useful things in any cupboard, and it makes a soup of remarkable creaminess with no cream at all. Drain the beans, warm them in stock with a clove or two of garlic, simmer for 5 minutes, then mash them down so they thicken the broth into something velvety and rich. A drizzle of olive oil and a crack of pepper finishes it beautifully. A tin of beans costs around 50 pence and is packed with protein and fiber, the sort of food that keeps you going. The smell of garlic softening is enough to draw anyone into the kitchen. For someone living alone, this is a soup that feels nourishing and grown up, a continental touch that asks for nothing fancy. Mopped up with bread, it is a full meal in a bowl, proof that the cheapest tin on the shelf can become something genuinely lovely, with barely any work at all. Number 11. Quick minestrone. The beauty of minestrone is that it welcomes whatever you have to hand. A little tinned tomato, a handful of small pasta or broken spaghetti, a few frozen vegetables, and a tin of beans, all simmered together in stock for 8 or 9 minutes until the pasta is soft. It is a whole pantry in a single pot, hearty and filling and endlessly adaptable. Nothing need be wasted, for the odd half onion or tired carrot finds a happy home in the broth. The smell is rich and savory, the colors bright and cheerful. For a person on their own, this is the clear-out soup, the one that uses up the bits and pieces before they spoil and turns them into something far greater than the sum of its parts. A dusting of cheese on top lifts it further. Warming, frugal, and satisfying, it is the kind of meal that fills you right up and leaves you feeling you have eaten properly without spending a penny more than you had to. Number 10. Parsnip soup. The parsnip is an underrated treasure, sweet and nutty, and cheap as anything through the winter months. Grate or thinly slice one, soften it in butter, then simmer in stock for 7 or 8 minutes until tender and blend it smooth. A small pinch of mild curry powder is the traditional partner, lending a gentle warmth that suits the parsnip's natural sweetness perfectly. The color is a soft cream, the texture thick and luxurious. Parsnips keep well in a cool place for weeks, so there is no urgency to use them up. The smell as they cook is sweet and comforting, the very essence of a British winter kitchen. For someone living alone, this soup feels seasonal and special, a little reminder of Sunday dinners and frosty mornings. It is filling enough to be a meal in itself, and gentle enough to suit any appetite. Few vegetables give so much for so little, and few soups taste quite so much like home on a cold and quiet afternoon. Number 9. Spinach and nutmeg. A bag of spinach wilts down to almost nothing in seconds, which is exactly what makes this soup so quick. Drop 2 large handfuls into simmering stock with a small potato or a spoon of mashed potato to thicken. Cook for 5 minutes, then blend it smooth and finish with a grating of nutmeg and a splash of milk. The green is deep and glorious, the flavor earthy and clean. Spinach is full of iron and goodness, and a bag costs little while frozen blocks cost even less, and last for months in the freezer. The nutmeg lifts it into something almost elegant, the kind of soup you might be served in a smart cafe. For a person eating alone, this is a bowl that genuinely does you good, light yet nourishing. The sort of thing that makes you feel you have looked after yourself properly. It is restorative and gentle, a quiet act of kindness towards your own well-being in the time it takes to boil the kettle. Number 8. French onion, the easy way. The proper version takes an age, but a cheats bowl can be on the table in 10 minutes and still warm you to your boots. Slice one onion thin and fry it hard in butter with a pinch of sugar to color it quickly, then pour over beef stock from a cube and let it bubble for 5 minutes. Float a slice of toast topped with melted cheese on the surface, and you have a soup that feels like a proper occasion. An onion costs pennies, and the result tastes of far more effort than it takes. The smell of onions caramelizing is one of the most appetizing in any kitchen. For someone living alone, this is the soup that turns an ordinary Tuesday into something a little ceremonial, a bowl worth sitting down to and savoring slowly. Rich, deep, and savory, it proves that a single onion and a stock cube can become a meal that genuinely lifts the spirits. Number 7. Cauliflower cheese soup. All the comfort of the Sunday side dish, in a bowl, in 10 minutes. A few florets of cauliflower, fresh or frozen, simmered in stock and milk until soft, then blended and stirred through with a handful of grated cheddar until it melts into a smooth and savory cream. Cauliflower is cheap and filling, and a small head stretches across several meals or freezes well in florets. The smell is rich and cheesy, the texture thick and consoling. For a person on their own, this soup feels like a hug in a bowl, the kind of thing that soothes after a long or lonely day. It is gentle on the teeth and gentle on the budget, needing no more than a knob of cheese you likely already have. A scatter of pepper on top finishes it nicely. Warming and deeply satisfying, it takes a humble vegetable and turns it into something that tastes like proper home cooking, made with care and ready before you know it. Number 6. Smoked haddock chowder. A little smoked fish goes a long way, and a single fillet flakes into enough soup for a generous bowl. Poach the haddock gently in milk for 4 to 5 minutes. Then lift it out, flake it, and return it to the pan with a small diced potato or some leftover mash and a handful of sweet corn. Season with pepper and a little parsley, and you have a Scottish-inspired chowder that tastes of the coast. The smell is smoky and rich, deeply savory and warming. Smoked haddock is not the cheapest fish, but a small piece makes a filling meal, and it is far kinder to the purse than dining out. For someone living alone, this is a soup that feels nourishing and a touch special, a bowl that lifts an ordinary day into something memorable. Hearty and full of flavor, it is proof that even on a modest budget, you can treat yourself to something that tastes like the sea and warms you right through. Number 5. Bacon and lentil. Here is a soup that fed working families for generations and still does the job today. A rasher or two of bacon, snipped small and fried until the fat runs. Then a small cupful of red lentils and half a pint of stock added straight on top. 8 or 9 minutes and the lentils are soft, and the bacon has flavored the whole pot through. It is thick, smoky, and deeply filling. The kind of bowl that keeps the cold at bay for hours. Bacon offcuts or a couple of rashers cost very little, and the lentils stretch it into a proper meal. The smell of bacon frying needs no introduction, and few things are more welcoming on a winter's afternoon. For a person on their own, this is the soup of true sustenance, hearty and honest and satisfying right down to the last spoonful. It is the taste of thrift done well, a bowl that fills you up and warms you through for the price of almost nothing. Number 4. Butternut squash. Pre-cut or frozen butternut squash takes all the hard work out of what was once a fiddly vegetable. A couple of handfuls simmer in stock for 8 minutes until soft, then are blended smooth and finished with a pinch of cinnamon or ginger and a splash of milk. The color is a glorious deep orange, the flavor sweet and velvety. Frozen squash keeps for months and costs little, so you always have the makings of a comforting bowl to hand. The smell as it cooks is warm and faintly sweet, the very picture of autumn comfort. For someone living alone, this soup feels generous and wholesome, the kind of thing that fills you up and does you good in equal measure. It is naturally smooth and easy to eat, gentle yet satisfying. A swirl of cream or a scatter of toasted seeds, if you have them, turns it into something you would happily serve a guest. Simple, seasonal, and full of goodness, it is a true bowl of contentment. Number 3, tomato and white bean. We are nearing the very top now, and this one earns its place with sheer ease and goodness. Tip a tin of chopped tomatoes and a tin of any white beans into a pan. Add a clove of garlic and half a cube of stock. Simmer for 6 or 7 minutes, then mash some of the beans down to thicken it into a rustic Tuscan-style bowl. A drizzle of oil and a tear of basil, if you have it, finishes it beautifully. 2 tins cost barely £1 between them, and they keep in the cupboard for an age, ready whenever you need them. The smell is bright and savory, the soup thick and genuinely filling thanks to the beans. For a person eating alone, this is the bowl that asks nothing of the shops and gives everything in return. It is a complete, satisfying meal from store cupboard staples alone. It is proof that the cheapest ingredients, treated with a little care, can become something truly lovely. Number 2, pea and ham. A classic of the British table, and far quicker than the old long-simmered version. A couple of handfuls of frozen peas are dropped into stock with a little cooked ham, the kind you might have left from a sandwich or bought cheaply at the counter, simmered for just 5 minutes and then partly blended so it is thick, yet still has texture. The ham lends a salty depth, the peas a sweetness and a wonderful green color. It is filling, comforting, and remarkably cheap, the sort of soup that has warmed families for 100 years. The smell is savory and inviting, the bowl hearty enough to be a proper supper. For someone living alone, this is a soup that feels traditional and reassuring, a taste of the way things used to be. Frozen peas and a little leftover ham are all it takes, with nothing wasted and nothing wanting. Spooned up hot with a thick slice of bread, it is everything a British soup should be, warming, frugal, and full of quiet comfort. Number 1, and finally in first place, a proper golden chicken broth. There is no soup more comforting, more restorative, or more universally loved, and it can be on your table in 10 minutes flat. Take a little cooked chicken, perhaps left from a roast or pulled from a cheap tin, and drop it into half a pint of good stock with a grated carrot, a handful of frozen peas or sweet corn, and a small handful of pasta shapes or broken spaghetti. Simmer for 8 minutes until the pasta softens, and the kitchen fills with that unmistakable golden smell, the one that means somebody cares. Season with pepper and a little parsley, and there it is. It costs almost nothing, uses up the odds and ends, and gives back warmth, nourishment, and a deep sense of being looked after. For anyone living on their own, this is the bowl that matters most, the one your mother made when you were poorly, the one that says you are worth the trouble. It is the gentle proof that a meal for one can still be a meal made with love. So there we have it, 20 cheap British soups, each one ready in 10 minutes or less, each one kind to the purse and warming to the soul. Pick just one to try this week, and let me know in the comments which became your favorite. And if you found this useful, do give it a thumbs up so others living alone can find a little comfort here too. Until next time, keep warm and keep well.